Hi, Mel and Tony, we back. Mel, we back. You good? Alright, we back live again under the tree. And the reason we inside is because it seems like we're about to rain outside. Because you know we like fresh air. We want to be fresh about everything. And be fresh people, so be fresh. We like everything fresh. Fresh pork, fresh meat, fresh vegetable. Fresh. Why you couldn't be home like you scared of?
I'm not afraid of anything.
You scared of me, or you scared of woman, or you scared of man, or whatever?
I'm not afraid of anything.
You scared of what I say? You don't want me to say that on the show.
What?
Be fresh, people. Anyway, folks, Tony and Mel. I just wait until the music go anyhow. We taking on now. What do you say the show is based now? The real show today is now
5 pillars of love.
5 pillars of love. You want to say them, or you want me to say them for you? You can say it if you want to say it, man. Say it.
No. Well,
Self-love?
Well, basically, self-love is the 5th pillar.
Right.
But the first one is self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, now these are pillars of love.
Yeah.
Right? Self-awareness, self-knowledge, self-compassion.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Why you like you in school?
I
You want me? You can't read my reading. You want me to say? Listen, folks.
It's
Woman,
always confused with selfishness, right?
Yeah,
But
selfishness.
basically, it's being aware of yourself.
But let's take the
being
one.
compassionate towards
Yeah,
yourself.
let's take the one. Let's start from the selfish one. Let's start from the selfish one. Let's go directly. We ain't going from top down. We going from bottom up. We going from the selfish one. That's the one. But we going our show going up today with the same one. Selfishness.
Okay.
Selfishness. When people call me and talking about their wife, and call me and talking about their girlfriend and their boyfriend and this that, selfishness. The first 5 pillars, but that's one of the pillars. And that's one of the pillars that causing this country, especially now, sort of rock. You could talk all day on that same one. Selfishness. And the reason we could talk about that one, one of the first pillar, that 5, I can stick with that same one.
Which one?
The same one. Selfishness.
Well,
And let me tell you about the selfishness when you finish. I can tell you how. I can break it down.
the thing about self-love
Not
is
self-love.
that people
Selfishness.
always think that it is selfishness. People always think that if you love yourself, or if you put yourself before others, that is selfishness.
No, that's not selfishness, because you listen. Folks out there, let me see if I can educate now. Before you love somebody else, you gotta love yourself. Before you even go and say, I love you to somebody, you gotta know. See, where the mistake happens all the time, we use the word love so loosely, but we don't even know if we really love ourselves.
Okay. So, if I love myself, then I should be aware of myself. It means I have to be in tune with myself.
Yeah, you gotta know you. Yeah, you gotta knowledge
I
yourself.
have to have self-knowledge, where
Know
I
yourself.
know myself.
Right.
Then I also have to accept myself. So, what other people think about me in terms of what I look like, what I should be wearing, what I should be eating, how I should be thinking. If I can't accept myself, it means that I will always be looking for the approval of others, for the guidance of others, for acceptance of others.
The culture. I can go. I go ahead. You go, and then I go.
And then you have self-compassion, where we are compassionate towards others, but we are very hard on ourselves, right?
Most times, yeah.
But I always like to quote the New Testament scripture, which says, love your neighbor as yourself. As a matter of fact, that is one of the 2 pillars of the 10 commandments, which Jesus Christ condensed to 2. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, right? All thy mind, all thy soul, And the second, which is like unto the other, is to love your neighbor as yourself. So it begins with self-love.
But how?
And that's why the pillars are centered around self, 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 self,
Yeah,
self.
but how you could love your neighbor and you don't even
Love yourself.
love yourself?
You can't. You can't love anyone.
So most times, folks, I can talk to you all, you know. I got to talk to my Bahamian woman today. This Bahamian woman day. Not Bahamian man, Bahamian woman. Melanie, why you look at me like that? Why you throw your head? I was talking Bahamian woman day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want me to talk Bahamian
Ain't
man?
nothing new.
Okay, let me talk to Bahamian men then. Let me switch it. Let me talk to Bahamian men. Bahamian men today always think they get the wrong end of the stick.
Okay.
And the reason they always think they get wrong end of the stick is because of what they've been taught from the forefathers. It's a passed down type of thing. And it's based in biblical.
Really?
Yeah. Bahamian man has this thing that they special. And they are the head.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody follow.
Mm-hmm.
And that got them off track, a little crazy.
Okay.
Because what had happened is that they forget their compassion is.
Mm-hmm.
They forget their love. They always think that they should be loved first. I'll give you a little example what I'm talking about. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
All right. Before a Bahamian man gave you his money, you got to do something special for him.
Like?
Open up your leg.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And so...
And then you all turn around and say the woman is the one who demand the money, when it's y'all who only give the money when the woman give the goodies.
And I hear you, but the young people change it. Now they got a new word. They don't call us man no more, you know. Sneaky,
What they call you?
Sneaky link.
What?
Sneaky link.
What is that?
What is that? Sneaky link.
What is it?
The fella I sneaking around with. It's a woman by your husband or somebody sneaky link. Anyway, so and most time, especially Bahamian men now,
Mm-hmm.
they got this thing where woman shall most likely be slave to gain love. And you has to come out and display this love. Before I give you example why I say that. In a man who got a couple dollars, he well off. Right? Once he put his money on the table,
Mm-hmm.
your job is to do everything after that.
Okay.
Because his money is his love.
Mm.
He reigns supreme. I ain't doing nothing. You got to go to the shop. You got to take care of the children. You got to prepare the food. When I come home, you just have to focus because he put the money on the table. And then he considered that's love. That's his pillar of love.
Mm.
That's the far as he go. And then, folks, I real talk here. And then when he comes home, you better open up your leg, or it's gonna be a problem.
Okay.
And his love's been shown, and he believe he reigns supreme and king, Lord over you.
Mm-hmm.
You become an item. You don't become Mrs. So and so. You get that title when you're going on front of people.
Okay.
But you better do and have this place ready and all that. And women accept it because they don't want to cause no ruckus. So they accept this because if it's it costs a ruckus. He might withhold the money.
So, you know, that ties right in with something that I read where someone was talking about a relationship that they were in. And you see, different people have different concepts of what love looks like, what it should sound like, what it should feel like, right? And a lot of men feel, like you talk about the money, right? But a lot of men feel that women manipulate them with this body, sex, exchange kind of thing. It's like, if you don't do this, you can't get that. If you don't do the other, then I won't do this. And it goes from cooking to washing to even sex, right? But for a relationship to be healthy, we talk about self-love, right? But aside from self-love, there is some aspects now when it comes to relating to others.
Yeah, but we don't have, see, most men, you see, do those things in that situation that way. They never know themselves, you know. They live in somebody else's dream. They're learning. They're trying to live like somebody else.
And that is because, think about it.
Do you think
Have you
I
ever...
don't think about it. I study it.
Okay. Even when people go for marriage or premarital counseling, there is not, as far as I can recall or even observe, there is no real formula that is presented to say, if you do this, you will have a successful marriage. Or if you fail to do this, you will not have a successful marriage.
Because I gotta keep you coming back to me because I gotta make some money. That's why it's not a pattern. All right, but let me tell you why this, what you talk about, happens. Because in most cases, people don't even, okay, you under your mother roof, all your challenges under your mother roof as an individual, trying to find yourself, your personal self. You really don't, you will not find yourself because your mother tried to mold you the way she wants you to be molded,
or the way that she perceives society expect you to be molded.
And so you really don't know yourself.
Right.
And so,
love is hardly ever factored into this molding process.
Exactly. That's where I was going. You said it. And so what happens to you, the first encounter, you come up. You act on what you know, on what you was taught.
And you know what makes me...
And that, in your mind, that makes you think, in your mind, I can't tell you you're wrong. Because that's what you were taught.
But also, think about this, right? What do we see exhibited within the home? A lot of what we live by or swear to avoid in our personal life is based on what we see in the home.
Right.
So that expression of affection, that affirmation where the husband says, honey, you look so nice today, or that meal was just so delicious. All you really hear, unfortunately, in a Bahamian setting is when you don't do something right.
Exactly. But what's where I going with this? Sweethearting. Let's take sweethearting example. People say sweethearting is a bad thing. Biblically, sweethearting is wrong. But sweethearting is not a bad thing. Because the moment where you act and what causes you to sweetheart you are in a situation where your sweetheart might be the real one that you really love.
Or basically the person who taps into
your
what it is that makes you happy.
Right.
Right?
And so what happens to most of us, like you talked earlier, we never learn
how to express
and how to love.
Yes.
So what happens?
And how to,
so what happened? We stay under the marriage for death do us part, because biblically it can be right biblically. It will get fixed biblically.
but does
And
it
actually, no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Biblically, it get worse because now you don't even know why you here with this man,
Okay.
or why you here with this woman.
Okay, which brings us now to really look at the five pillars
There you
of
go.
successful relationships.
There you go.
Relationships that thrive.
And first thing, you must know
Uh-huh.
yourself.
Well, the first thing we already covered in
correct.
terms of self-love,
Self-love,
self-acceptance, all
The
of
second
that.
thing-
That's important. But trust between the two individuals.
And when
right?
trust, you go ahead.
Yeah, trust is the first thing, because now you already know yourself, but you have to be able to relate to the other individual. So trust is important. That's number one. Communication is also important, and communication in
Hello,
sweetie, such
morning,
and such and such.
kiss me.
Okay, and
Non-communication.
then I hear you is
Yeah.
the response.
Yeah.
No, dialogue,
Yeah.
healthy dialogue. Then number three is healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
You have to be able to know how
What is
far to go
what is wrong, what is right.
and how far. Okay, so and then it's really about if you have self-respect, then you will have respect for others. So there has to also be respect, right? And then finally, the fifth one is being a supportive partner.
Yeah. Wow. That is the most powerful. Be a supportive partner. You know, most relationship break up because the next one not supporting the next one, and they feel left.
That's selfish.
That's
So
selfish.
that is selfish in a
Yeah,
negative.
yeah.
In essence, I only concern about me, you be concerned about yourself. Why are we together? If I feel pain, I should be able to come to you and say it, and then you say, how can I help? Or, so what you coming to me for? That's not support. It's not understanding. It's not compassion. So you don't have compassion for yourself, because if you have compassion for yourself, then you will know that somebody else desire and is deserving of compassion as well.
Now, I hear you. Now I know tomorrow my name can be Mud. For where I going with this conversation. I know I can be Mud. I don't mind getting the blow. One of the big problem in relationship or in the 5 pillars of love, everybody loves different in certain way. You might go long way and come around the corner and come back at the same thing. I might be supportive with you, but I can't be supportive of you in certain ways. So it might be supportive of financially. It come back the other way. It might be supportive of you by being well and taking care of children. Now watch where I'm going with this conversation. Knowing yourself is a key element of a good relationship or love. But 90% of the time, we women and men in the Bahamian society know we are not one person lover. We know, watch now where I'm going with this conversation. I always say people match me up. We know when we find ourselves, we don't believe in one partner. we believe in 2 and 3. So what we try to do, what we are very selfish, what we try to do, you know, you can't be faithful to one person.
And I'm burning to ask the
Yeah,
question.
okay, and then you know you can't be faithful. See, most men in the Bahamas, if they tell the truth, they're not loyal to one. They can't be, because biblically, and you go deep into the biblical, back in the days, they had 2 wives, some had concubines, some had, so you trying to take yourself to package with somebody who want one husband. And so what happens, you live in a lie, because you know in your heart you love 1 or 2 women. You're not a person who stick with one person. So what you do, and you know it because you find yourself. See, when people find themselves
in which way?
Let me explain. We explained earlier, most people have to find themselves first.
We all should find
Okay,
ourselves.
we all should find. We all should find ourselves.
We all should
But when you
practice
find
self-love.
yourself, when most times men find themselves, most find themselves more wanting more than one woman.
But why?
It's because it's a biblical thing. It's
No.
See, hold on, wait. When I say it's a biblical thing, the Bible teaches you 1 woman, 1 man. Yeah, the Bible teaches you that. Right?
Well. You know, I'm sure.
I get you now.
No.
Go ahead. You want me to pull the
see,
scriptures?
because whilst there are scriptures that says, it says, for this reason will a man leave his mother and father and cling unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh.
One flesh.
Right.
Okay.
Now, when we look at prophets, priests, kings of the Old Testament, in the New Testament, we had stories of husband and wife.
Yes.
The priest and his wife, Mary and Joseph, so forth and so forth. But, you see, this way I can get in trouble now.
Yeah. You
Because-
can get right in trouble, yeah. Watch
Because
this.
David, who else?
Solomon.
Jacob.
Zach,
Right?
Yeah, the whole
Abraham,
clan. The whole
right?
clan.
They all. Now, what we as modern day people
Go ahead,
do
let me hear.
is
Folks, listen to
we
this. I want you to listen to what I'm
apply
saying.
it
She
to
talking to the Bible.
what
This is what I'm
is
saying.
currently in as we know it, based on what we were taught from we were children. Legal marriage, spiritual marriage. Okay? When Leah and Rachel, right? When their husband went to their uncle and he worked for one wife, he was tricked, so he got the other
wife. Yeah.
But on top of that, they gave, so people of today will say, oh well, they went contrary to God. They went contrary to God. Same thing they would say about Abraham and Sarah. They went contrary to God. God forbid that we should all be wrong, and that it is quite the opposite, that it was the norm for a husband. When we look at the Muslim religion, when we look at the Mormon religion, and when we look at the way the law has been implemented, where one husband for one wife, and if you go contrary to that, you'll be jailed.
Stop. Right there. What we did, the law.
Yeah.
The law of the land.
Yes. Okay.
And the law of the land was what? One
husband, one wife.
Okay.
So when we look at that now, and we look at certain religions, when we look at the legal aspect of it, when we look at the biblical account and the examples that were there, God called David a man after his own heart. How many wives did he have? How many concubines did he have? How many mothers of children did he have? But the structure, you see, was different.
The law of the land put the structure in.
Okay. Now, but the structure of the biblical era was different from the structure of the law today.
Right.
Right?
And so...
And...
go on. No, you go ahead. No, you
so
go ahead.
when I personally see the tendency of men to want to have more than one woman in their lives, my only response is, if you want to have more than one, then be open and upfront. Be the man. Be the leader. Because that's what those men were in the
but
day
you do that today, and you won't have the woman in your house.
That's because we have been conditioned to believe that it is me and you and everybody else must go.
Yes.
Right? But I personally believe that there are many women out there. See, the problem is the men are trying to make the woman who they're with believe that, oh, it's only me and you, when they know that it's them and Susie as well as Mary. So if Susie and Mary are happy but John ain't happy, leave John, stick with Susie and Mary. But don't be having John believing
easy.
No, it ain't easy.
It ain't easy to just...
So it's easier to lie.
The reason why it's easy to lie, because you can get what you want.
Okay.
And have you
have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, and you have a good life because now you less stressed. You don't want to take on...
You really think you less stressed in a lying situation?
Yeah, because when you take that on, when you run cross and you take it on, and that crap, that's too much stress, because you can lose your whole... you can lose your whole life earnings. And not because
What do you mean leave? What do you mean by that?
What I mean, whatever you work for hard, you lose it.
Why?
Because women today don't have no mercy, no heart, and because of little of feelings, they will destroy their marriage of feeling. Let me tell you. Let me break this down. See.
And so, what you say is,
if I make a mistake tomorrow,
stay in that marriage
and be
and
miserable,
be dishonest,
and be miserable,
and have your house, and because you work hard for that.
Yes, and that's
you know
what Bahamian men do.
And you know what? And you know what?
They live a lie.
And you know what? That is why we have such a sick nation. I ain't talking about mentally, physically, spiritually.
But the men out there,
they are the majority of Bahamians are sick. They ain't happy.
No,
it's a false sense of happiness.
It might be
because if it may be moments and we call it moments of pleasure, moments where you escape your prison for a couple minutes, but you got to go back to that prison.
But hold on, let's go back to this.
All because of the things that you have in that environment.
If you know yourself, the 5 pillars of love. If you learn yourself and know yourself, you will not put yourself in that situation.
Okay.
If you know yourself.
Self-love.
But most people don't know themselves. That's why they put themselves in those things.
And you know why?
That's what I'm talking about.
But you know why?
But
you know why? And it says here too, it's because of the modeling. Nothing has been modeled to us but lies, deception, pretense. Nobody will walk away and say, I would rather sleep under the tree on a piece of cardboard and be happy than to live a lie. People prefer to live lies.
No, why? Hold on now. Why should I sleep under that tree?
When you don't work for all them.
Yeah, and I can sleep in this big room.
Exactly.
So the truth will never come out because I sleeping on the tree and I spend all this money, working hard for this money. Come on.
But your health will be depreciated. Your happiness will be depreciated. You will be living a pretentious life.
But that's why majority of them are sick at the old age. Why you think
old age, even the young?
Why you think majority of people at the end of their life They are not
Go
living.
back to the pillars.
They are not living
because they're
a
not
good life.
truthful.
Yes.
Because when you're truthful, you will be trusted.
Right.
Okay?
And you have
You
trustworthy.
don't communicate. You don't tell people the truth about what you are feeling,
No,
what you need, what you desire,
But I tell you I love
what
you.
you expect.
But I love somebody else
So what
too.
is love?
Love is emotion.
You don't love yourself.
No.
Because if you didn't love yourself,
Love is a pile of emotion. Listen, love is all to people today. Love is just a pile of emotion. Oh, I feel good when you walk past. You make me feel good in my heart. Let me tell you something about love. Let me tell you. You want to know about love? I told somebody today, early this morning, when you speak about somebody loving you and you love somebody, I learned something recently. And I want people to know this. Most people love you from their heart, but they don't love you from their head. They have to love you from the heart to the head. The blood runs to both places. If they only love you the heart, some people just have cold heart. That's where they stop. Some people pretend they love you, but you will know when people don't love you. Let people die and see how much people love you and things to give and things to share. You will know love. That's love. The war start. And so most times when people say they love you, they only love you from their heart. And you know what they do? The minute their heart stop beating for you, they don't love you no more.
or basically the minute you stop giving
Whatever. But
then,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The heart
so
only-
it's conditional.
Right.
So love is unconditional.
So I could say
love,
with my mouth.
in essence, it means no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what your behavior is, no matter what your language might be, I have unconditional love for you, meaning that it is a judgment-free state. I don't judge you because
Before
you're
we
black,
close.
or because you fat, or because you ain't have the
I was coming there.
education,
Before we
or
close.
because you
Why do you
or
think-
you live in a leaning house, like some people will say.
Before we close, answer this one question for me. I put this in your lap. Why do you think majority of men love beautiful women?
Because it's a socially accepted thing. They want to step out with somebody on their side who people will praise them and say, "Oh, you got a good gal there. Oh, she look good." Or the ego and the feeling that comes with hearing that in your ear. But these men are the most insecure that you want to find anywhere, because they always looking to see who looking at their woman.
All the time. But you hit the button on the head. Most of these men who take these beautiful women are not really loving the woman itself, you know.
It's just the image.
They're the figure.
It's the image.
Because she's pretty and because it,
And
and it's not, and a woman could be thick as brains, and because she got good shape body, she could buy her way through. And because we got ignorant men, will die for that bongi in that shape. And what has happened when they realize after a period of time, they realize the bongi gone south, and the ugliness show up.
well, you see, for me,
but it was never there.
for me, I'm a woman, so it doesn't matter what I think about other women.
I'm talking about men now.
But
Talk about men.
no. I can talk about the women, because a lot of us focus on the exterior.
Because
but
that's all.
what is on the inside here, that's where men go wrong. When they discover that I marry Beauty and the Beast,
Pig
right?
in the pen.
The what?
Pig in the pen.
Pig in the pan. But basically, because a lot of people, they focus on their exterior. The pleat have to be right. The color have to be right. The makeup have to be on fleek. The lashes and the brow and all that have to be on point. But the character, that same inner self-love, self-awareness, self-compassion, self-acceptance, it's missing.
I had a comment.
And so therefore, when it comes to you as the man now, it's going to come out on you too, because they don't feel good about themselves. So they get all these things to fix themselves up, to make themselves feel like they are of value.
Follow the road. Everybody fall in the road. Everybody running behind the car on the road. Now let me I had a conversation. You know, I have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a conversation with this person yesterday, and we talking about the same kind of line, and he asked me a question which stunned me, and I didn't understand it. But when I moved and went home, I thought about it and then I understand it. He said, "Why you think all the pastors today like beautiful, bright women?"
Image. It's image.
So you trying to tell me even the pastor running after image?
Because
Those who teach it, teach the word in season, running after image.
When they say Pastor Williams and Mrs. Williams and you stand up, you gotta have a mango skin with nice shape standing next to you.
But you want me marry the ugliest woman in your church?
Why? No, you marry the prettiest.
No.
You marry the prettiest.
But
right?
you the pastor.
And then
you
go
telling
around
me,
and sweetheart the ugly woman what got the heart,
you
what
know
got all
that?
the skills. Go and sweetheart her.
Listen, I would
Because she ain't good enough to bring out into the public.
You
but
want
she
me,
good enough to make you feel good, to make you feel like a king, to make you feel like
so you want
like
me
all that on a
hold
bag
on.
of chip.
You jump in the gun. You want me marry the ugliest woman in church, and then you go sweetheart my wife, who's the ugliest woman in church. Okay, so you only tell her marry me because you want her to be close to you, because you know I close to you. Now you see how this works?
Yeah.
I tell you what, folks. Melanie said, I'm gonna say it because I don't get in trouble. Melanie said, you know, so not seeing a real place, you know, people say, you know. And
NASA in a real place, the world.
But Melanie went to the whole biblical breakdown of Solomon and Jacob, David, the whole. And Melanie told you all. See, I didn't miss it because I was going there, but she told you all. This was the land of the marriage, one woman, one. Basically, is the law of the land. See, don't get confused, and that's why I said that earlier. But it's good to marry one woman, yes. But
you gotta have all these.
Yeah.
It is beautiful,
right,
to have someone who loves you back the way that you love them, that trusts you, that supports you, that respects you, that communicates effectively with you, that establishes healthy boundaries so that no other individual, whether it's your mother, your friend, your children, nobody can penetrate that relationship. All right? In essence, you loving your partner doesn't mean that you have to neglect everyone else. It means that you establish healthy boundaries, meaning, just like the wise man Solomon said, there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. So there's a time for your friends, there's a time for the children, there's a time for the family, there's a time for the church. But when it comes to your partner, there should always be a priority set for him or her. And then together you agree on how the rest of the social aspect of your life is going to function. Now, you have some people who like to squeeze out everybody. Be careful of them. Because a healthy relationship means that that individual does not feel insecure when you are giving some of your time and attention to others.
Well said. And before we close, Melanie, I don't think I should say anything after that. That was well said. That was well said.
Thank you.
And I think if you follow that pattern, if people follow that same pattern, and I don't want to say nothing behind Melanie because I think it was well said. And before we close, remember I always say the whole day I was saying about heart and head. Heart and head. And my madness to that is this. This body we have, all the blood have to run through the head and heart and come out and run through the leg, wherever. But these two things run this body. And if this blood don't circulate properly in this body start acting crazy. So everything has to be, that blood has to go through every part of the body, go to the heart and head. And once, like you said, once it's balanced and it's even, and you can be fine. It's when one party or one of the parties of the one person of the party decide that he is so smart, or it's about him,
all about me,
all about this. And so once you line up right, you end up right.
Yeah. So remember, selfishness is the beginning of a healthy
and five
life.
pillars.
Five pillars for healthy love and 5 pillars for healthy, thriving relationship. The first love is self-love. And then after self-love, you are able to love others. Okay? So thank you so much for joining us, Tony. Any foresight for the next episode?
Well, the next episode will be beautiful. We'll let you know in the week. We got something for you. I'm going to let you know. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Meet me here next week, 4 o'clock. Mel and Tony, under the tree. Oh, we inside the roof, but we'll be under the tree.
Once the sun is shining and there's no rain.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time. Mel?
Be sure to leave your comments. Also, we welcome suggestions for future discussions. Anything that you desire us to discuss, let us know. Take care. Have a beautiful week.
Have a beautiful week. And remember, first thing, love yourself. Before you love anybody else, stop messing around. Love yourself. Find yourself before. I can't love nobody unless I know me, because I only fooling you. Sorry, Melanie.
Take care. You know that I can show.